Hey everyone, as you might have heard in the previous post I made up, uh, or assumed I suppose, the D4E Archives are coming back. So what this means, kind of the refresher everyone on how this kind of works, is every 2 weeks we post up a new classic archives episode based off the collection of tapes that we have donated by Harry Cubertson and Chris Roth. We have a whole bunch of these tapes, so if I do one every other week, it'll probably last us quite a few years of this. Um, like I said, the plan is one every other week with a bonus episode during months of the Pro Tour off season. Of these episodes, we'll have one free episode and then 3 members-only episodes. In order to watch those members-only episodes, you must be a member of our Pro tier on our YouTube channel, or else you will not be able to watch them. I will note that after a year of the videos being up in the Pro tier, we will make them free, so they're not locked in this vault forever that you have to pay for. They will eventually be free. A majority of the episodes that we post up are also going to be decided by polls on YouTube, so if you want to choose a particular video to watch, they'll be decided by polls. Sometimes I'll have someone come up to me and they know they're recorded on tape at some point and they'd like to be able to see it. If I have that, I can post that up. I just have to find it first. So it just depends on what we have available and what's interesting to people. Also, because I am going to be out for a good bit of February, I've kind of already gone ahead and digitized a decent number of them and come up with a schedule I should be able to keep through all the way to May. So right now, these 3 I already have digitized, and I just need to finish editing them and put them up, and we'll be good to go. So the hard part on these is done, just the easy part of just editing them. When we get into March, we go back into our once every other week schedule because the Pro Tour starts up. I'll have a poll up sometime in February to figure out what this one is, and then I already have this one digitized for the following 2 weeks. And then we have 2 more in April, which I'll have a poll up in March, and then 3 in May, just because there's 3 Thursdays. There's like 5 Thursdays that month, and it just fell in. We get through that month. Every other week works that way sometimes. Have a poll up in March for the two to digitize, and I already have this one digitized. I just don't know what it is, and I'm probably gonna have to reach out to some people to figure out what exactly was recorded there. Another little bonus, since I had to go through a new process to get everything digitized, I tested a handful of tapes beforehand, so I basically have footage that's on like a different setup that should be a better quality. I'm gonna just for now call those bonus remasters. So I had to test these tapes through the new process that I have already. So they were tapes that I have already done, but I needed tapes to test the process on, so I went ahead and did them again just to make sure I didn't break anything. And if they were damaged, who cares? They were already done. But I can test these. I use them basically as test cases. So I have that footage digitized already, and I just need to edit it and post it up. And I'll do that whenever I get some free time, and we'll just call those remasters. So now I'm going to kind of get into the weeds of what exactly happened. If all you wanted to hear was we're back, you can go ahead and turn off. But if you're interested in understanding what happened, I'll spend a couple minutes and kind of go through some of the details. So we started having issues with the tape player like November, December-ish. That was when time I found a professional that was willing to service the tape. Thanks Mike Spiegel for pointing out the place out in Frederick that would do it. So we had them service it. They changed out a handful of parts that are normally troublesome. I was told the system was actually in really good health. It was just that some of the tapes were probably like causing issues. And come to find out, I was still having issues, as kind of expected. So I had to kind of research what exactly was going on here and what was the problem. It turns out the issue is fairly common. It's called sticky shed syndrome. Essentially, moisture gets into the bindings of some of these tapes and causes this shed of this like sticky dust rust-like particles that get stuck on all the guides and heads. It's a pretty common issue with some older tapes. So you can see kind of on this one where some of the tape has actually just come off. And the problem is this stuff sticks to all of the components in your tape player and makes it difficult to play and to watch. So here are two pictures of tapes I actually have in my possession, and you can kind of see some of the issues on here. So this is actually a VHS tape. It's fairly uncommon to see this issue on VHS tapes, but for some reason this tape just kind of had that issue, and you can see like some of the tape is just kind of shedded off of the film. This tape actually gave me a good bit of trouble even for VHS. Normally a VHS player will play these pretty easily, but there were some parts of this that were very problematic that I had to do some work to get around and get played. I probably should have worked it a bit harder, but I didn't feel like opening the VHS player to work it. Did get it all digitized and it's all good. It was just the tape was kind of a mess. To put it in reference, this tape's about 45 to 50 years old, so it needed some help. On the other side, this particular tape was the bane of my existence for a couple of months. This tape caused me a lot of trouble. So anytime I'd put this tape into the tape player, it was causing the sticky shed problem. The issue appears to be the brand. You can't see it here, but this says Ampex. Ampex is apparently a brand that this was a notorious issue for, and you basically must treat them in order to get them to play. Interestingly, this company is actually still around. They're like a data service company now, but they mass-produced a whole bunch of these tapes, and apparently whatever they use for the binding on the tapes, it just causes this issue to come out. So where exactly is the problem? Well, here's the tape player I had, the U-matic tape player I have opened up. All of these red circles are places where the tape touches. So the tape just gets wound through all of these in order to play, and you have to clean out every single one of these in order to get all of this gunk off of the binder, the heads and the guides. So the two particulars of note is this big red, this big silver thing I have circled. This is the main head for actually playing tapes. Usually when this gets gunked up, it's not that it stops playing, it's just that the image quality degrades significantly. So you have to clean it. You have to clean out this whole head. It's actually pretty easy to clean out because this whole device spins. So you can easily just put a Q-tip with some isopropyl alcohol on it and clean it off pretty easily. More troublesome is this little bad boy here. So when the tape goes through the tape player, it actually gets wound all the way around here. This little device here basically is a little tension device. It creates tension in the tape to make sure it aligns correctly with the guides. And here's another picture of it. So the thing is, this is not metal. This is plastic. So it's already fairly tacky. So when the tape is already putting this gunk on it, that makes it even more sticky. The moment that this system feels any resistance to it, it just shuts off. Like, it just completely comes to a stop. So this needs to be like very clean on a lot of these tapes, or else it just stops the entire system from doing anything. I have this picture of an angry cat here because when there's an issue here, it is very loud and very screeching and very annoying. It sounds like a cat dying inside the device. It's you have this problem when you hear this sound. It is very, very loud. But this every time I've opened up the device, this is incredibly dirty. I've come to the conclusion I need to clean this particular spot every time I use the device, just because of how dirty this gets and the problems it causes when this gets dirty. So now the next part, how exactly did we resolve this problem? Because we can clean it, but that doesn't really change the issue of the tapes and the sticky shed of the tapes. We got to cooking, actually. So this is more art than science, is what I've learned, and a lot of the professionals who handle these tapes and digitize these tapes. They all seem to have kind of their own method of madness here. There's no like professional way to do this. I was talking to Mike Spiegel about this, and he apparently has a friend. And this is a common issue for like any kind of tape, and they specialize in like audio tapes. He has like a CLIN for this, which like I was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy, man. Um, but a common way I've heard of people getting this result. Oh, my favorite way. My favorite way. So you know those old like room heaters from houses in like the 50s and 60s? There was a guy who just put like a wooden board on top of it and just put the tapes on top and say, "Yeah, I just like measure the temperature there and make sure it's about right." And I was like, "What? This is madness." But back to the way we solved it. One of the more common ways this problem seems to be resolved is to put any sort of this media into a food dehydrator. The advantage of a food dehydrator is they keep things at fairly low, air quotes, hot temperatures, and do it fairly consistently over the device. So it's not like an oven where you have heating coils giving off heat. This device usually keeps a steady temperature throughout the entire device. So you don't want to put these into an oven at a low temperature because the temperature is just inconsistent. Then you kind of want a consistent temperature. So, I take off the tops of all the tapes. I put them in here. By the way, that's not easy getting going back. Let me go back to that Ampex tape. We're going back to that Ampex tape. This tape does not open easily. Because of that sticky shed syndrome, the reels on the tape are super tight. It is very hard to open these tapes. I actually had a hammer and chisel to open this tape up and just prayed I didn't break the tape. Okay, going back to my little oven. Open up the tapes, scatter them throughout this dehydrator. I think I've done 3 most of the time. That seems to be about as many as I can get in pretty easily. But 3 at a time, bake it for 8 hours overnight at 130 degrees, and hopefully that tapes are good to go for the next week or two. It's really all you need to digitize. The tapes are permanently damaged. This issue is like a permanent issue with the tapes, but this is a way to get them into a state where you can digitize them over a fairly decent amount of time. Usually about 2 weeks to a month is what I've heard, but I try to make it fairly quick. And if this doesn't work, you can just put it back in and you can up the hours to like 10, 12. I've seen 16 hours. I've seen 20 hours for different kinds of media. But yeah, you just put it in and you just keep baking until it's good to go. You can eventually get all of that moisture out of the bindings, and from there you're good. And so with that, we're back. I have the sound fairly low so I don't get copyrighted on this because this song gives me a copyright hit nearly every time I play it. Sorry for the ringing noise. Yeah, we're back, guys. So I want to take a moment to thank everyone who has donated to the Ko-fi account. I haven't done this in a while, so I wanted to add this into the tape. So thanks to Gary Santora, Rob Hanley, Chris Louth, Andrew Buckingham, Greg Phillips, Brian Jadorsky, the National Duckpin Youth Association and Parkville Lanes. They ran a 50-50 for us at both the Youth Kickoff Classic and the Youth Classic over the weekend. Mount Airy Lanes and Jamie Alder back at the what tournament was that? That was the farewell to the Maple tournament. They ran a 50-50 for us. Thanks for that. Joe Muse, Mark Davis, Lenny Anderson, Eric Hubel, Charles Kenzerinsky. I'm really bad with names. I'm sorry, my dude. I tried. I's before E's get me every time. L.A. Arch, Tommy Ebersol, Steve Glenmont, Eddie Kendall, John Novak, and Matthew Lloyd. Also like to take a moment to thank all of our D4E members. Again, if you would like to be a D4E member and watch some of these classics that we put on as members only, you need to be subscribed as a pro member. But here are all of our members: Andrew Buckingham, Brandon Cook, Duckpin Stats Guy, aka Steve Hoover. Frank Aiello. I told you, I before E's get me. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Kmark Ams. Jeremy Killingsworth. Joel Logue. John Green. Joe Muse. Lenny Anderson. Mark Davis. Patrick Davis. Bill Conrad. Rick Baker. Rob Hanley. Robert Berry. Sam. That's just Sam. Sam. Samuel Young. Tom Harvey. And Bill Miller. Once again, thank all of you for donating. I hope you all enjoyed this quick little video, and the Duckpin Archives are back. Hope you all enjoy. Thanks. Bye.